Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, come in again. You're very, very welcome. It's great to see you all back. I trust you enjoyed my last video on Aussie band Chocolate Starfish, and through this song accidentally cool, we looked at when those really out of the blue exciting things happen and what we do with them. So I trust you found that one encouraging. Well, we're going from there to Antone Dominic Domino Jr. today. He was born in 1928 in New Orleans, the youngest of 8 children, and apparently he was helped to come into this world by his grandmother, who kind of just knew what she was doing. And it was around the age of 14 that this guy started to play in bars in New Orleans, because he was a pretty of a freakish talent, this guy, with his singing voice and his incredible piano playing. And soon he became part of the band at the Solid Senders. The guy we're talking about is Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee Fats Domino. He got signed to Imperial Records in 1949 at the age of 21. And around that time, he was also pretty sought after as a session musician, playing on many albums around that time. Of course, Fats Domino is well known for Ain't That a Shame, and also Blueberry Hill. In fact, there's just so many songs that this guy is known for. But I thought, let's get the ball rolling with the fastest selling album to selling single to earn 1 million sales, and that was The Fat Man from 1949. And so, you know, to be the first to hit 1 million in single sales is pretty amazing. This song is pretty significant for that reason. And so what we've actually got below is we've got a live version of that one for you. And that's what I've been doing, is I've actually been just referring to clips as we go instead of referring all to them at the end. But, you know, when you do think of Fats Domino, another song you tend to think of is Ain't That a Shame. This was a crossover to pop for Fats. He was doing rhythm and blues before that. Rock and roll, a bit of rock and roll, but this is a bit of a pop crossover, and this enabled him to appeal to just more people. In fact, you'll notice when you watch his clips below that he has the microphone to the side now, and so that means he's actually not looking at the piano often when he's not playing it. And as a piano player myself, I don't know how you can do that. I think I've got to look at the keys as I'm playing. You kind of just get into the feel. I suppose if you are playing as much as Fats Domino was, well, you just get into the swing of it. But, you know, he had the microphone to the side, which is pretty amazing thing to be able to do. So I've got a live version of that one. But of course, when you do think of Fats Domino, probably the song you think of is Blueberry Hill. This song is a very significant song for him. It went to #1 on the rhythm and blues charts and #2 in the Billboard charts. This single sold 5 million copies, so very significant song indeed. In fact, this song got put into the Grammy Hall of Fame some 32 years later, and Rolling Stone put this number 52 in the top 500. This is the Fats Domino version. And so the words go, I found my thrill in Blueberry Hill. Hey, hands up, who wants to go to Blueberry Hill? I reckon I might want to go there, because I want to work out what this thrill is. And of course, obviously you don't actually find out what the thrill is until you look into the song a little bit more. And you realise it's actually about a girl, because it always is, you know, thrilling. But the song goes on to talk a little bit more about the memories of Blueberry Hill down the track. So there's a bit of a story going on in this song. But I found my thrill just got me thinking a little bit more today about where does the thrill go. There's another song by a band called Texas called The Thrill Is Gone. I can see it in your eyes, the thrill is gone. I think the great thing about relationships is the excitement about them, particularly at the start. You know, love is new, love is exciting, and everything's, you know, rosy, and the birds are singing, and the grass is green, and the sky is blue, and everything's just magical. And you can't wait to hang out with that other person in your life, because it's absolutely thrilling to do so. Do you remember that movie Enchanted? There's a Disney movie a little while back, and she believed in love at first sight and loving forever, and she didn't actually understand the complexities of this life, and just had this beautiful, refreshing look at love. That iconic song where she's singing in the park. That's how does she know that you love her? How do you show her all the things that you do to show? Well, the thrill goes, doesn't it? It goes, and this is a sad thing about relationships. They either deepen, which is not so much reliant on thrill, or they go completely. But I'm just wondering how we can keep the thrill and excitement there. Some people do is they might have a date night sort of thing, and they'll go out for a date night, and so they get ready for that and look up for that. Date nights are a great idea. You can kind of leave the world for a while and escape it. Because what's the point of having another significant person in your life if you can't escape the world and to experience how wonderful it is to be with somebody else? But I often wonder, date nights that may come along, once a week or once a couple of weeks, and you get to the night, you wonder why it's not working. Well, because everything's expectant towards this date night, but meanwhile the day-to-day isn't following up. So, the only thing that will make a date night really, really good is if there's kind of, and a real appreciation of each other in every day. They talk about lovemaking. Lovemaking starts in the kitchen, with a desire, caressing the woman's emotions and the woman wanting a husband. It happens in the kitchen. It doesn't actually happen when you get to the bedroom. It happens beforehand because, you can't wait to get there, but it starts sooner and earlier. Because we want to be with the person, but we want to be with all of them, in the intimate moments and the non-intimate moments, that enables us to actually have a full-blown, full-rounded relationship. So how we keep the thrill? It's a good question. I think the challenge of Fats Domino today is, hey, what can we do to maintain the privilege and the enjoyment that we have of this other person? And not forget what it might be. What can you do to remind yourself how cool this person is? It might be like opening a door for them, making them that special thing. Whatever it is, how are you showing the thrill? Even though not quite as far at the start, but the thrill is there, right? Because they're in your life and you want them in your life. So the challenge of Fats Domino today is, how can we keep the thrill going? So trust you'll find that one encouraging today. Well, and I think I've already talked about Ain't That a Shame. Yes, I think I did that one. Now, Fats Domino was a very, very exuberant performer on stage. He gave his all. And interestingly, he was one of the biggest rock stars of the 1950s. He's also responsible, because he was a man of colour, he became quite popular with white folks, which white audience was pretty good, and certainly in the 1940s he defined rock and roll. In fact, it was Elvis Presley who's regarded as the king of rock and roll. Apparently Fats Domino was at Elvis Presley's first concert, and when someone said, hey, you're the king of rock and roll, Elvis Presley pointed towards Fats Domino, so as the undisputed king of rock and roll. And so, to get the nod from one of the greatest performers of all time is a pretty amazing thing. If it wasn't for people like Fats Domino, Elvis Presley probably wouldn't have done what he did, because Fats Domino paved the way for him. So exuberance is something that it's pretty amazing, Fats Domino. In fact, we've got a pretty amazing live version in 1977 where he's actually moving the piano across the stage as he plays. And so, microphone cables are just getting longer and longer and longer, and people are just sort of running to try and help him keep this whole thing going. And so, Fats Domino wasn't scared to shake it up a little bit, that is for sure. So we've got a live clip from 1977. Now, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986. Now, this was the first year the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame actually existed. So to be in that class of 1986 as the first lot of inductees is an absolute privilege indeed. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was given no shortage of people who needed to get inducted, and so of course Fats Domino had to be one of those. And according to Billy Joel, who inducted Fats Domino into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and now we know how iconic Billy Joel was, he cites Fats Domino as being a major influence because he was learning classical music, and when he started to play Ain't That a Shame, he started to realise that rock and roll music on the piano was the best thing he could do. And Fats Domino, to quote Billy Joel, he proved that piano was a rock and roll instrument. Of course, other people such as Elton John also have cited Fats Domino as amazing influence. So we've got his induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Then I found this really, really cool clip from 2010, just Fats Domino playing the piano at home. Quite a little compelling, beautiful, little compelling clip, that one. Fats Domino did leave us in 2017, and so that's only 7 years before his death, and there was well and truly tributes to him at his death. He was actually married to Rosemary from 1947 to Rosemary's death in 2008, just shy of 60 years, and between them they had 8 children. And Fats Domino lived in New Orleans, his hometown, all his life. So I think this guy was pretty well grounded, and I don't think you can leave New Orleans when you have that heart of a muso from New Orleans. You've got to be in that environment to actually record and keep spitting out the songs that you did. Now, Fats Domino had a stack of studio albums, compilation albums and singles. Estimated he sold around 65 million albums. 11 of those albums have been, there's been 11 top 10 hits, and 34 of those albums have been in the top 40. And there's a career between 1956 and 2006 for album releases. Now, I've already said that Fats died in 2017, according to the coroner, of natural causes. So, a very influential guy, this one. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction absolutely warranted. Lennon and McCartney have both recorded Fats Domino songs, and they cite him as a major influence. If you've got Beatles citing influences, just goes to show you've got influences of an influential band. And Fats Domino did receive a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award in 1987. So, thank you. If any of the Fats Domino family are watching, thank you for this legend and for the legacy he's left to the world here. We absolutely loved him when he was around. And again, if you are in a couple, how can we do to keep the thrill going? Hey, what can we do to keep love a little bit exciting, even though it's been going on for a while? You know, love is bigger, and there's always more love than what we've got, and so there's always opportunities to spice things up a little bit, even if you've been together for a long time. So let's never be scared to show how much we love our partner. That's the challenge of Fats Domino with Blueberry Hill today. Well, if you come back for another one, or this is your first time, the Live Reflections through Music, thank you to everyone for coming back and hanging around and all the rest of it. And so good to get up to 48 subscribers as at the recording of this video today. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to the Greg Kihn Band. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now. Well, that's it for today. Next time we're going to go on to the Greg Kihn Band. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.